Esmasculation.
Okay, that's me. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Candid Conversations. I am your host, Kyra. How is everybody doing tonight? Hi, Robert. How's Sawana? Hello, Caroline. Hi, Miss Beth. How y'all doing today? I hope everybody had a great and productive, wonderful day today. Let's introduce our co-host. First off, Mr. Justin Rucker.
Greetings and salutations, my peoples.
The man that brings the heat in such a nice way.
Oh, yeah.
And let's introduce his wonderful significant other, Chrissy.
Hello, everybody.
And of course, we have the wonderful Mr. Derek Watson.
All right, now let's get this show started. I brought my masculinity with me for the show, so we don't want no mess. We don't want no mess. Let's get this popping.
You know what, Derek? Derek said he was gonna be foolish today, so we're gonna see just how foolish Derek is gonna be today. Okay, everybody. Today's topic is the emasculation of men. Are women to blame? My answer is absolutely not. So, I do not think that women emasculate men. Well, hey Shima, I do not think that they emasculate men. I think that men, first of all, before I start, I just want to give the definition of what they say an emasculated man. And the definition is to deprive a male of his masculinity or power. So, to deprive a male of his masculinity, strength, power, vigor, or spirit, to make a man feel less masculine, or to take away his strength. Now, my thing is this. How do women, I know with all of this stuff that's going on in the media, the Will Smith and Jada, they killing it with that part. Johnny Depp now is suing his ex-wife because he's saying he was a victim of domestic violence, that she was beating him up. So everybody,
She was beating his ass.
Well, that's what it seems like. I've been watching the court proceedings, and it seems like it was a 50-50 thing going on in that relationship. And then you have the Tachina Arnold thing where she put out this tweet and women were coming for her throat behind it. And all she did was ask, how can black women help not to emasculate the black man in America? So, and they killed her on Twitter. Like, they was killing her. So we decided to let's talk about it. For me, I don't feel as though women emasculate men. I think that maybe in a way that sometimes, yes, Caroline, I know she cut his finger off. She's talking about the Johnny Depp thing where the ex-wife cut off his finger, one of his fingers, in an argument that they were having. I think that a woman can't take away a man's masculinity. You are a man. You have your masculinity. If you choose not to I'm trying to think of the right word because I don't want nobody coming for me.
Mhm.
Because then I'm gonna get mad and then I'm gonna shut the whole podcast off.
We already know. We already know.
I'm trying to use the right wordage here. I don't think that I think that men have to be more outspoken, is what I'm gonna say. I can say that there are some dominant women out here and can be aggressive at times towards men.
At times, all the time.
At times.
Every last time. Every minute, every hour. Every second, every day.
At times. We can
why you think Smokey Norfolk wrote that song
aggressive
about
at
telling them we need them now?
Huh?
I said, why you think Smokey Norfolk wrote that song, I Need You Now? He had a strong, dominant woman. He like, Jesus, if you don't come right away.
I'm gonna kill it. But yeah. So I think that when it comes to a strong, dominant female, she's gonna stand up. She's standing 10 toes down to what she say. You as a man, I feel as though should be doing the same thing. Like it's just like you don't just allow people to make you feel any type of way. If I'm saying it right. In my head, I said it right.
So
I don't want to hear what they're gonna say.
You ain't ready? Because you know I'm about to bring the heat. I'm about to bring the heat.
Chrissy, I'm ready for Chrissy.
No, you got to alternate. You got to alternate. That means you went, so either me or Justin got to go before Chrissy.
All right, Justin. Okay, Justin. Go ahead, Justin. Because I ain't ready.
So what I'd like to do is I'd like to enforce the record rule and pass my time over to my constituent, Mr. Derek Watson.
You know what?
Don't be doing that city hall
here. Okay? I said Justin.
It's my time. I can do what I want with my time.
You still have to talk.
He's right though.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk.
But he would like his opening statement to be added on to my opening statement.
I just record ruled you.
All right, go ahead, Derek.
So the emasculation of man is a two-part thing, right? So yes, we have very strong, dominant women, but also we have men who have allowed for this to happen. So it's kind of our fault, as we have to share the blame, because the number one thing is compatibility. If I do not have a strong personality, I should not be going after a woman with a strong personality. There needs to be a balance. So if I'm saying, okay, I'm going after Cat, knowing that Cat chooses violence, but I'm nonviolent, then I'm asking to be emasculated when we have an argument or we have a disagreement. I'm asking for her because she's going to be dominant. She's going to say how she feels, and she's going to stand 10 toes in the sand and say, this is what it is. As she said, it is what it is. It do what it do.
That's right.
And I want to say, so, and now, because we have to understand that the emasculation of man is a view from the outside. It's not really the man who's feeling emasculated. It's the people that's around this man that's looking at him and saying, yo, this Negro's a punk. Yo, this guy is getting punked by his woman. He don't got no backbone. He's a spineless jellyfish, all the other stuff. He may think he's holding his house down. He may think that he's doing what he's supposed to do, but everybody else around him is looking at him as a spineless jellyfish.
Like a chump.
So right. So we have to share the blame in this because if I know that I'm not strong enough to take on the lioness, then I should leave that lioness available for a true lion. And let me go find me a cow. Let me go find let me go find me a donkey. Let me go
Well, I thought he
find
was gonna say
something.
cat. He went straight to cow, donkeys, and shit. Jesus Christ.
Well, because cows are bigger, but
Move.
right. And
Move.
they don't get mad at you. They just tell you to move. So
Move.
so I think we share it. I think we share the blame. But it's our fault because we allow for these women to pretty much run us down, run us into the sand, and we don't want to fight back. We don't want because we're tired of arguing. We don't want to argue. We don't want to fight. Um, number two, nobody trying to go to jail because you're gonna push me to the point because a lot of the strong women they choose violence all the time, right,
All the
Kat?
time. Mm-hmm.
So I have a
Stop
very close
saying
friend.
my name because
I
I
have
don't
a
choose
very
violence.
You choose violence every day, even for nonviolent at a nonviolent march. You're the only one in there trying to get violent. I have a very dear friend of mine who tells me all the time when she deals with a guy and she swings on him. She says, "I'm going to swing on him before he swings on me." But I'm like, "But
But
how do
that's
you know
just a
he's going to swing
toxic
on you?"
relationship right there.
Right. No,
You
but
shouldn't be feeling like
she's
somebody's gonna
toxic all
swing
by
on her.
herself because she doesn't know she doesn't even know he's going to swing on her. But because of her past experiences, she automatically think every guy that gets angry is going to swing, so she just punches him in the mouth. So we have to
I'd have
understand.
locked her ass all the way up.
We're not trying to go to jail because it's only be so many times before you smack me in my face or punch me in my jaw, or punch me in the stomach before I call my sisters to come and handle the business. You feel me? Because I'm not gonna put my hands on you, but I know a couple of people who ask questions later.
Well, I don't agree with a woman putting her hands on a man unnecessarily.
I don't agree with nobody putting their hands on nobody.
They shouldn't
Keep your
be.
hands to
Women
yourself.
should not be hitting men.
It's a stigma though, man, because women think that, like, with regards to putting their hands on, women think that some of these men is gonna play the chivalrous role and not hit them
and walk
and then
away.
they get their bell rung and it's like, oh my God, you hit me, I'm a woman. Yeah, so to avoid all that, keep your damn hands to yourself.
Keep them to yourself.
You never know.
Yeah,
you never know.
I don't.
You might pop the dude one good time. He might forget. He might have a Joe Frazier moment and knock your ass clean out.
A Mike Tyson moment.
Yeah, bite the shit out of you.
Get you a ride on the Mike Tyson air.
Mm-hmm. Frequent flyer miles.
All right, Christy, what you got to say, Bo?
Well, I do think women have the ability to demasculate men, and I think it's done a little differently. But I think a big part of that is also upbringing, because essentially a lot of people that ease into this role as adults were pretty much either saw this as kids or did not have any masculine like roles growing up, so they don't know how to assert themselves. So you have like the single mother raising kids, and the daughter got to be independent. She got to know how to fend for herself and do all these things. So now she gonna become an independent grown ass woman who don't feel like she need a man. So why would she go into this relationship to be assertive in the sense for her partner? Then you got the man growing up without a male influence who's not showing him the correct way to be a man and be assertive and how to, maintain his household and, be that assertive person. And I'm not saying like in a submissive way because I'm very modern in the sense, but I feel like if you have a partner that is doing what he needs to do, then it's simple for me to just stand by you and support you because you are already doing the things that you need to do. But in a relationship where it's off balance, if I'm the breadwinner, I'm doing everything, I cook and clean, I take care of the kids, and you're not sitting home, why am I ever going to make it seem like I need to, do anything or say something to you? Like that role is just going to feel like you're the one that is dominant in that position. So in that sense, I feel like upbringing is a big part of that. And just not being like their compatibility is definitely one of those things that's important. But at the end of the day, I just feel like the way you look at the roles in your relationship are definitely going to determine the outcome, especially like how you were brought up. Because you can't do something you never saw done.
Absolutely. Like you can't have two alphas in a relationship. It's only can be an alpha.
I think you can. I think you can have two alphas.
I don't
You
think
just got to know your role.
Like I don't think so.
No, you do. You can't have two. You can't have an alpha male and alpha female. They are ideal. They're ideally for each other. Understanding that the alpha male's job is to show the alpha female that he can lead, and that's a tall order, period, all by itself. Because to what Chrissy was saying, if she has been the breadwinner all her life, and her mom was the breadwinner all their life, and now all she's known is provide, 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 and now this man comes along. This man is going to have to elevate the game altogether. He can't just come in and do what she was doing. He has to elevate it and take it to a level where she can see, okay, this man is coming in and he's elevating my game. If he can't do that, then he's always gonna butt heads. And understanding men, we have to understand that when we talk about elevating the game, it's not just about money. It's not just about throwing money at people and saying, "Oh well, I'm a breadwinner. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna put you in a nice house and stuff like that." Elevating the game is coming in and filling in all those holes where she may feel insecure at. So she may be strong in some areas, but some areas where she's weak, you need to be able to elevate those areas where she feels, okay, I can now sit back and take and don't take such a dominant role in this because I know that my boo got me. But that's not something that's just going to happen overnight. And most men, we think just because we come in, we swing the dick, we got money, that she's supposed to just fall into place. And we have to understand that that was cool back in the 50s and 60s, probably the 70s and 80s. But once you hit the 90s, these females care nothing. They can go out and buy their own dicks, and they got their own bank account. So you need to be able to elevate on other avenues of this without thinking, okay, it's only the financial part. We need to be able to elevate them emotionally. We need to make them feel secure in every aspect of their life before they can really sit back and take on a role that says, okay, I don't need to be dominant. And when you don't do that, that's where you have the crashing and buttons of heads, because now she's looking at you like, what are you doing to make you think that I need you? And once that word come out the mouth, that's where the emasculation comes in. Because now I don't need you, you ain't nothing, all the rest of that stuff comes out, and now he's hearing it, and now he's tired of hearing it, so now he don't care anymore.
Right.
So now you're being disrespectful, and you're being disrespectful to him in front of the kids. You being disrespectful to him in front of his friends. You being disrespectful in front of your friends, family. It don't matter who. Wherever it happens at, that's who gets it. And ultimately, that's where he loses that oomph that people are supposed to look at and respect. And it's a sad thing to see an alpha male get beaten down by a stronger alpha female.
Mm.
And all because of this miseducation.
You got to know how to lead, and the woman got to feel that you are capable of doing so, therefore she don't mind being led.
Right.
But I'm going to let you lead me down to the shitter, like, for what?
Right.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Now, another angle we need to look at, and we need to understand that it starts at home. Mothers talking crazy because they're mad at the fathers for not being in that child's life, but that child looks just like the father. Now mothers are breaking down that child in the way they talk to the child, or the way they treat the child, because they got played. So now they take it out on the child. You are emasculating this child at a young age, and he's gonna grow up emasculated.
You're gonna grow up conditioned
Right.
Conditioned to be
Thank God my kids look
subservient.
like me.
Right. So he's
Now
already
you
thinking not
usually
much
go
of himself.
looking for that woman to make you feel the same way, and now you don't understand why you keep finding it. All these girls, the same thing, and
Right.
you fall into that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You are conditioned, and this is what you think is normal. You think this is the norm. This is how she shows love, and it's the only way I know to recognize love. So now I'm
Mhm.
here, and I'm in this relationship with this mean ug mug, because this is the only way I know how to be loved. So we have to understand that's where it falls on the woman, because you're conditioning your children to be emasculated from the jump.
I think
You
it
talk
falls
about
on
these
both
little
parents
boys,
because this is where they call it daddy issues. A lot of women,
right?
absent father in your life, or a father treating your mother a certain type of way, you grew up conditioned the same way. You think that is how it
Yeah, you
should
think
be.
that's normal? Yeah.
And it really is both roles. People say you're a single mother, you're a single father. I'm mother and father, but the reality is you really can't be both. Children really do need someone in their life that's both roles, even if it's not their father, an uncle, an older brother, someone. But all kids need both roles in their life because they need to see how it's done correctly, how you should treat people, and how you should be treated. And especially if your parents are together, that's very important because realistically, the relationship you grow up seeing all your life is what you're going to really go out and mirror, whether you know it or not, whether it's a good relationship that you saw or a bad one. And sometimes it takes people 15, 20 years of their life to realize, oh shit, I date exactly like my mom used to date, and everything I didn't like is exactly what I'm doing. And people don't even notice it, and they spend their whole adulthood doing the same thing, going in a circle.
Circle.
Absolutely. Kat, didn't I say that yesterday? Didn't we have the same conversation? See,
Yeah.
I knew I liked you, Chrissy. She be knowing her stuff. See,
Circle.
same exact thing I told her. She didn't
There's
want
a
to
lot of
listen to me.
underlying psychology to it. People just don't realize it.
Oh shit! Cat done froze up.
No, I
No, she
didn't.
ain't.
Okay.
No, the Sasha in her eyes, so she gotta.
I'm sorry.
The Sasha.
Yeah, the Sasha got in her eyes.
I was reading something. I'm sorry.
I hope we got something to do with the topic.
She was doing
No,
some
it don't.
research.
It don't.
Oh, I gave her too
Shame,
much credit.
shame.
It really don't. Um, I'm sorry. It's my bad. Sometimes people forget that I'm on the podcast and they start texting me. Apologize. All right, Justin, your turn.
I agree with what they're saying. Like it's definitely two angles to it. Is learned behavior, is behavior that's been observed, and then it is more so about your own moral fiber. Are you an alpha? Are you someone that is comfortable in being in having your manhood taken from you? We all know that chivalry is dead, and a lot of these independent women are out here and they feel like they really don't need a man, and it's
that's why
based on
chivalry's dead.
yeah, and that's why chivalry is dead. And I can remember examples of me just doing little things like holding doors open for females if we going into a building or something like that, and they giving me stank looks based on the fact that I extended myself to hold the door for them, because in their mind they don't need no nigga to do anything for them. Something as small as holding the door open caused damn near an argument over something so stupid. So I mean, it's in our culture right now. Unfortunately, you have some that understand what it is, and then you just have others that just really don't know, and they don't really care because they really believe that they don't need it.
Shima says also some men don't mind or don't care, and why I say that is because most men allow women to control their livelihood and they're okay with it. Now that I can agree with.
You said you can't?
I can
Oh,
agree with that. Because you do have some men who think as long as I'm making her happy, then everything is Gucci. Everything is good. We ain't gonna have no problems. We ain't gonna do this and that, whatever. Whereas she controlling when you know, who you hang out with. I don't want you hanging with your friends no more. If I can't
See, that's
go,
too much.
you can't go. You go to your mama house too much. I don't like your family. Your family don't like me. Blah 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 blah, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
You see that's another aspect of it. That's like a third angle to it too. Personal self-esteem is huge, because if a woman is telling a man that he can't go see his mama, that's a problem. That's a serious problem.
I'm just throwing it in, but you do have some women that
you do have women that do that, or you hanging
that.
out with your family too much, or where you going? If I can't
And
go,
she
you
says,
can't
and
go.
if you don't listen, she ready to kick you the F out. Yeah.
but that's the
self-esteem
dude
right there.
But that's the dude's problem, because if our problem is the fact that we come into, I think, and I said this last week, we don't bring nothing to the table. We have to understand that if I'm checking, if Justin fell for Chrissy, right? Justin can't be a leader for Chrissy if he's moving into her house and all he got is his garbage bag and his Xbox or his PS5 and his flat screen TV. You're not doing nothing. So every time, it cracks me up when I see grown men living with women like that's your mother. This is your woman. So therefore, how can you say I'm the king of this castle when you don't? This is not your castle. This is not your castle. This is her castle. You are a peasant. Every the slightest little thing, I pride myself in being able to say nobody can kick me out of here because this is mine. But when you go to somebody's house, the moment you piss them off, now you need to go because this is not your house.
But sometimes it's not even like that, because when you with somebody, it's supposed to be a together thing. So sometimes you may purchase a home together. Yeah, Derek. Yes.
No.
If you purchase a home together with your significant other, or y'all decided to get this apartment together with your significant other, then your both names is there. It's both of y'all. Do she actually have the right to kick you out of a place that you pay half the bills for? No.
Right.
But we feel as though we do.
Because whoever called the cops first.
But we feel as though we do. And we have no problem saying, if you don't like it, get out. You do.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter who owns it or whatever.
It does matter because
it matters, but
that's the way the emasculation comes in. Because if you are truly an alpha male, or if you are truly the man, trying to be the man and leading your family, when she looks you in the face and says, first of all, she's not even going to part her mouth to say, if you don't like it, get out. Because she already knows that this game is going to get shut down real quick. If you don't like it, you get a hold on. Nobody's getting out of anywhere, because last time I checked, this was hours. So get your little life together. I understand you mad, but let's not say anything that's going to make the situation any worse, okay? I've been respecting you this whole time. You're going to respect me this whole time. And then you come back, you take a breather, and then we can come back and talk about this.
That's a normal thing to do. Mm-hmm.
But when you are emasculated, and she's like, if you don't like it, you can get out. Then you say, you know what, you ain't got to talk to me like this. You know what, I'm out of here. You just looking at a reason. You wanted a reason anyway. You wanted a reason to go anyway. You probably had a side chick, little Wanda, somebody down the street that been making you feel good, and now you leaving because you know LaWanda's door is going to be open. No,
No, I think that's me. I'm quick to leave.
I
I'll be
bet.
like, peace.
And you won't go anywhere. You would absolutely go nowhere. You will sit your little tail down in that chair,
I'll be
and
like, peace.
I sit my tail across the room, and then when
That's
you
my
feel
thing.
like,
I'll be quick to be like, oh, I ain't gotta take this shit. I'm out. Peace.
nah, see,
Yeah, I catch you tomorrow. Let me know. Let make sure the kids get to school in the morning.
right. And when you get in the car and see me sitting in the passenger side, like, where we going? See how you like that?
I think the biggest part to avoid that is just like the dependency. Because I know a lot of people in relationships, no matter if it's alpha male or female, and if they wasn't sleeping in that bed or that couch, or that person wasn't letting them borrow their car, say go to work, it wouldn't be no relationship. And the reality is, you just got compliant in the situation you in, and you're not trying to assert yourself. It's just like, well, they pay for this, I got this, it's good enough for me. And you're settling, and in settling, you're almost you're doing it to yourself. It ain't really your partner, because you ain't trying to do better. You okay with the little bit you got, so you don't feel like you need to come and assert yourself. You got some Wi-Fi for your Xbox, that's food in the fridge, and she lets you borrow the car when you need to, and you okay with that.
And so you
And
do
I
have
know some
some
women
men,
on the flip
and you
side,
do have some men that's like that.
and you got some women on the flip side. Well, all right, he come over, he got to do, he put it down, okay. Sometimes he takes me to work, or he give me a little money to get my hair, my nails done. And, oh, okay, I'm okay now. That's all I need.
You consent with it.
Settle in too.
Yeah, you consent with it. You're very content with it. But I don't know how or where men get that dependency from.
the absence of men in the household. When I was a child, I did things of a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. But
But
if
what if
nobody
you
ever
don't
shows
have an
me,
absent? But what if it isn't any absentee father? And what if that's not the case? What if they just
if if there's an absentee,
ends up being
if there's not an absentee father, then he's being taught how to be a man. Therefore, he's not being dependent on a woman just doing everything. He's going to handle his business. Most cases where you find men who are relying or dependent on women is because these men were brought up in dominant women households where there was a single mother or a Gma or a Gg or an auntie or a grandma. It was somebody who was dominant, and there was no man in place. So
the only
because
reason
they
why I'm
was
saying that
raised
is
up like that,
because I know I ain't knitting that nap. I know a dude who got his mama, father, they still married, still live together, all that good stuff. They old people, they still married. But he's very dependent on his significant other. I don't know
because
how
he's
he was
spoiled.
raised.
It could
I
be
don't
in the
know how
Yeah.
It could
It was
definitely be in the
Yeah.
upbringing. Just
Just know.
because you go with both parents don't mean those roles
Yeah.
are being filled correctly
Right.
and adequately.
Mm-hmm.
I
If
just know
your
that
father was the type where he just come home and he stays his ass on the couch and watch his TV show and don't do nothing with you, don't and your mom is still the one doing everything, she don't, your father's like, well, I ain't gonna do nothing more emotional and none of these other things with you, and is your mama, and that's all you have, then you're gonna still be dependent on a woman. It's the same thing. Just because your father's there in the
I miss
household
William.
don't mean he's there.
Exactly. That's what
Like
I'm
I grew
saying.
up with my father. My father raised me, and I'm not the over dominant woman in my relationship either, because my father raised me and was like, I want you to be independent. I don't want you to ever rely on a man. And I understood what he meant, but I still didn't grow up and feel like I have to be the alpha male in my relationship. I'll say I'm the woman in the relationship. I have the adequate parts. and I would like a partner that is going to lead me. I can fend for myself if I'm alone, but if I'm not alone, then I shouldn't have to put this rule on.
Shima says
Absolutely.
most men I know that's like that was raised by a woman that did everything.
And that's even if the man's in the household. The woman does everything. The woman cooks, she cleans, she goes to work. He may go to work, but he comes home, like Chrissy said, he goes home, comes home, sit down and watch TV. His plate is brought to him, and you know, it's that whole king mentality, because that did it too. Because back in the day, women treat their men like kings, so they served them, they took out their clothes for them, they did all that stuff. So now you have today's time, you have the independent woman who knows how to balance a checkbook, who knows how to shop, who knows how to make sure make sure all the bills are paid. So he has absolutely nothing to do but go to work and bring home the money, and she handles everything else. And when you're being brought up in that kind of household, then it's easy for a boy to see his dad dependent on women, and then he becomes dependent on a woman. A. B. If the boy has been given every single thing, he has nothing. He never had a want in the world because mom and dad made sure he had everything. When he finds him a strong black woman, or a strong woman, period, because we're not gonna act like it's only the black women out here, but he find him a strong woman, period, who can carry the load and he can be comfortable, he'll sit right at home because that's what he was raised around.
Shima says I'm like that with my boys.
She's
Oh, that's
spoiled.
right, because Shima's a boy mom. She has all boys.
So she's babying her boys?
Do she baby her boys?
Yeah.
Shima,
Wow.
do you baby your boys?
I got it small because it didn't come.
Because we need to be careful of that, especially all parents who are raising men, who are raising little boys who are going to become men. You have to be cognizant of that the damage that you doing is going to be somebody else's problem to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
I was taught, my mom was my upbringing was unconventional because my dad was hurt. He was on disability, so my mom was the breadwinner. My mom went off to work, and my dad stayed home with us. But in him staying home with us, he made sure that he showed us and gave us the tools needed to be men in the house.
Shima says I show them. She says I show them how to be treated.
Oh yeah, so
she says I show them how they should be treated. Natalie says, but in that same verse it says I put childish things behind me. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, that verse explains itself. Basically, the ghetto interpretation meaning is once he learned, he put those things away. When you know better, you do better.
Right, but if you don't know that, Cat cut me off, so I couldn't finish the verse. But
I did not.
You did cut me off, but it's okay. It's fine. Yes, the verse is very much self-explanatory, but understanding that he said, once I became a man, I put away childish things. But if he was never taught to be a man, he can't put away things that he don't know the difference between what is childish and what is a man. And when you have men who are absent in the household, who cannot be the proper role models for these young boys, they don't know the difference between what's a man and what's a boy. So then now they have to rely on what a woman tells them is a man and is a boy. So
what's
a woman
it called,
is telling
Derek?
you
Arrested Development.
Right.
Ava, leave that spoon alone.
Absolutely. So we have to now depend on what a woman tells us is what a man's supposed to do and what a boy is supposed to do. So a woman tells you that a man takes care of his responsibilities. You go out and get a job. You bring home the bacon. You do all this stuff. But she doesn't tell them that a man is okay for a man to cry. It's okay for a man to feel weak. It's okay for a man to express himself. These are all things because women don't find these things sexy. Because one thing a woman can't stand is a crying boy, a crying man, or a crying baby. They don't want to hear you whining. They don't want you to hear you expressing your dislike for things. So
it is so true.
That's true for all women, though.
It is so true.
I think
No,
women
it's not true for all women, though.
Know that it is important.
It's not
because
true
I
for
don't know
all
how you
women,
don't want a
but
man
it's
to
true.
be
In the
most
black
women.
community, that is true.
It happens a lot.
I
Like
wish
I
I
feel like
stopped using that
when you
word
know
black.
better, you do better.
It ain't just in
I'm
our
black.
but
In
I'm
the
just
brown
saying, it's not
community,
just in our community.
It's not just in that community. I think it's masculinity in general. The image
Right.
of you being a strong man is the thought of you expressing yourself or being fragile at the moment of weakness or confiding
It's
in your
frowned
partner
upon.
seems like it counteracts it. But the reality is you have to be vulnerable with your partner in that sense. And I feel like women that understand that know that it's not demasculating for your man to cry or express himself or for your children to do the same because you're gonna raise them to be a rock and then you expect them to go and be in a healthy relationship and you've never expressed yourself to your partner in 40 years. Like that's not healthy.
At all.
Or your kid falls down and you like get up. Like it's okay to express if you're in pain. Because the reality is you shouldn't go your whole life taking pain and dealing with stuff if you don't have to.
Absolutely.
Which is why so much domestic violence. Because men hold in so much and then eventually they're gonna fucking explode.
I can agree with that.
And God help you try to explode on me, no, no, I'm just saying.
And I think that's where you back so much to like why mental illness really goes undiagnosed in like black and brown communities because it has to do with expressing yourself and admitting that something is wrong. And you're not gonna make that first step because it's already frowned upon for you to even say you feeling off because you should just be strong and resilient every day.
And in our community too, men don't really go for therapy. Like when things are going on and to figure out whatever damage was done to them as a child, they don't go to therapy.
Even small things like going to the doctor.
They don't seek help.
It's all part of it.
It's like, ooh, that's an unheard thing. No, it's not unheard of. It's just that for some particular reason in our community, it's just we just don't do it. And there's nothing wrong with therapy. There's nothing wrong with it at all. There's nothing wrong with seeking help to help you understand and to understand the things that went on in your past or even in your future is not correct. Is not the right way, that you was raised this way. So now it's like you have to wipe all of that stuff out of your head and learn a different way. And a lot of people don't want to do that part because that's the hard part.
True that.
There's no easy way out of it, but to say, like, I have 2 boys and I raise my boys the best way I know how. I am not their father. I don't act like I'm their father. I don't put myself in a man's role because I ain't no damn man. And I know this. But I don't have a problem with telling my kids that it's okay to cry. It's okay to talk and show your emotions because it's perfectly fine to do so. Even if it's just with your mama, you can still do that. But they know that they can be vulnerable and there's nothing wrong with it because it's human nature. You're supposed to cry when you're hurt. You're not supposed to just hold it all in. You're supposed to cry. It's human nature.
I be holding it in.
To stop your tears from falling from your eyes because you feel as though somebody gonna be like, "Oh, shut up, suck it up." You know, it's unnatural. It's just unnatural. Natalie says, but when did it stop being okay for men that witness these young boys taking them to the side and showing them how, especially when you know that mom is single? Boys and girls, clubs, coaches, churches, some of our Black men gave up on their Black boys. I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. Because it's the God honest truth. Our own men gave up on, well, hell, if you gonna give up on your own kids, you damn sure ain't gonna be out there helping somebody else's kid that you have no responsibility to. If you ain't even taking care of your own, but even those that do, sometimes we do just walk by and watch these boys out here do the things that they do and don't say a damn word at all. And I ain't talking about women, I'm talking about men.
I think it goes back to upbringing, family, and community. And that phrase takes a village, and honestly, the stuff go on like years. This is not the 80s and 90s, that upbringing. When I was young, my neighbors, whatever, they could say something to me and it wasn't an issue. Nowadays, it's not the same. You don't have that village. It takes a village. Like, there is no village. You can't trust your neighbors. You don't know what the hell going on. You scared of people touching on your kids. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on.
But you know what? Even just the simplest things that we see, like I could say for like example, one day I was in Newark and I took my son to go get him a pair of sneakers. It was a Black dude, and mind you, in this sneaker store, most of the kids in there were teenagers. They were young, and then of course you had the manager and the supervisor who were adults, and you had security in the sneaker store as well. And I take my son to Newark to go get his sneakers or whatever. And this dude is going off on this teenage kid. This boy couldn't have been no more than like 16, 17 years old. And this grown ass man is just blacking out on this boy for no apparent reason. No reason that I saw that he should have been talking to this man like this boy like this. He threatening to spit in his face, and he trying to jump over shit just to get to this little young boy. And I'm with my son, and my son is looking at me, and so I tell my son, sit down. And I'm seeing it into action, but nobody is trying to break it up. Nobody is trying to stop this grown ass man from jumping on this little 16-year-old boy for no apparent reason.
That's cowardice.
So me being me, the mother that I am, I start walking towards the altercation because somebody has to get in between these two. Or whatever, a grown person. Security was sitting there watching. A whole other big Black man sitting there with plugs in his ears, acting like he don't hear nothing, watching me. Nobody intervened. I, of course, get into the middle of it and tell homeboy, like, let's diffuse the situation. But I see my son right behind me. Mind you, my baby only, 12 at the time? 12, 13. And he's behind me because he thinks the dude is going to hit me. But I'm not caring about whether or not the dude's going to hit me. I don't want him hitting this boy that I don't even know. And then everybody's standing around here just watching me. It wasn't cute. It wasn't funny. It was no point to it. And then we wonder why these kids are the way that they are, because and women are the ones protecting them.
Yeah, that situation is crazy. Crazy.
And that's usually, most of the time, is how it goes. A woman is always jumping into the middle of
that is true,
a man's thing. Right in the front of. Because that's how we feel.
You got a beta male. You got a bunch of beta males in the situation. So that's what that's basically what we was talking about. Even the dude that was in the kid's face, there's nothing alpha about him. He's still acting like a little ass boy, because ain't no real grown man gonna step to no boy in that type of fashion. So it just goes to show you that, you know, all these beta males out here. It's really that's really fucked up situation. I think that's crazy. Instead of just trying to pull a boy's side if he made a mistake or whatever, look, this is how you do it, this is how you go about it. You want to jump down his throat and try to fight him.
That he even made a mistake. I just think it was that the guy was in there browsing. The boy no longer was paying him as much attention because there was other customers in the store. And he got upset because the boy walked away and he started cussing and going.
Yeah, then he should have been asked to leave. You know, there's many ways that situation could have been diffused way before you even stepped in on the scene.
But that's what I'm saying. When it comes to things happening, this is what young boys see. Even with men, if our men get into an argument or they about to fight, 9 times out of 10, if you bout it, you bout it, and you gonna sit right there and you gonna ride with your man.
Bro,
touche.
And that's just what it is. If you was a female who jump in front of her dude that she riding for in a heartbeat, if you punching, I'm punching. Because
I'm gonna whip her ass
like,
later. I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
You very rarely will see that with a dude.
Where a dude will step in and fight a woman?
No, if a dude would just step in, period, not to fight her, but just to de-escalate the situation or whatever.
Yeah.
You rarely see that. But us as women, we act like we security, we the police, we jumping in between stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's just and that's our nature.
But I think like for some reason the outcomes is always really off. Right? And the rare chances where you have men jumping in these situations, being chivalrous with women that they don't know, it's like they really getting the short end of the stick is so unfortunate because they're really just trying to do the right thing. And then you have women jumping in. It's like a woman will jump in, but 9 times out of 10, like nothing really bad comes with it. You'll have a man jumping in, trying to help a woman. Some guys harassing her. Man gets stabbed, is killed. You have girlfriend jumps in the fight. Nothing may happen to her. Maybe she got a bit bruised, or the other guy's girlfriend jumped in, but you rarely hear of it going really left. And I think that's why a lot of guys just kind of choose to fall back. And it's unfortunate, but like the consequences are always, the scales are different.
I'll be honest, there's been situations where I've seen personally where a couple might be having a verbal altercation. Me and Crystal might be having an argument right now, like arguing. It might come to where she smacked the shit out of me, and Derek might come and be like, yo, Jay, you tripping, like, you know, don't do nothing or whatever. And Crystal might jump on Derek's ass. It's been situations that I've seen where innocent bystanders just get beat up or worse. I don't seen a guy get cut up.
But see, for y'all, that's and just like you just said, Chrissy might smack you. So right there, she's emasculating you because she smacked you in the midst of an argument. That's the
understanding that the trick or the trick to this whole thing is allowing a man to be a man when it needs to be. So you being a strong female, knowing when to decrease so that your man can do what he's supposed to do, or put on a facade of him doing what he's supposed to do. And most females, especially our brown and light brown community females, they not beat for that. No, I'm not gonna fake, like I'm gonna let you live and be and put on a facade like you got it or you doing it when you not doing it. If you wanna be up here acting like you doing it, do it for real. So then they end up stuck. They
Drop the
end up
mic. Drop the mic. Drop the mic.
Justin,
Drop the mic.
I'm gonna drop your mic. I'm gonna drop the mic.
Listen.
Because the deacon over here is 100% in his masculinity. You see, he's sitting up there with his chest poked out, like what? all right, Mr. Watson.
Thank you,
I
sir.
agree. All right, people. Our hour is up. I think our hour is up. Is our hour up, Derek?
Nope, but it can be.
All right. Derek said that it can be, so it's up. Our hour is now up, and we thank everybody for tuning in tonight. And we will catch y'all next week, same time, same place. Mr. Watson, do you have anything else that you would like to say?
Yes, don't emasculate your man. Let them be the man. Let your boys be boys. Raise them to be men. And look out for the Blasters Universe pop up. We're coming to a park near you. So look out, check us out, blastersuniverse.com, and see where we're going to be at next. Where we start popping up in May, June, July, August. We're going to be popping up every month in different places. Come on out
So will
and
you
have a
pop up
blast.
next month?
Huh? What's that?
Where's your pop up next month? Where's your pop up next month?
Garfield Brook Park and Kennedy. I'm not Kennedy, Eastside Park.
You got dates?
You got flyers?
It's all coming out. That's why I say go to the webpage, check out the webpage, and look for
What's the webpage?
blastersuniverse.com.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Justin, you got anything to say before we sign off?
It's nice. Missed you guys last week. It's good to be back. Just use your better judgment. You know, men, women, be strong, commit yourselves to each other. But all this demasculation stuff, live and let live. That's what I gotta say. Live and let live. You know, take the balls and give it back to your man and let him have his balls.
Women can't take your balls away.
There you go.
Y'all hold on to your balls, and they will be able to be taken away.
Everybody have their own balls. There you go. And Patterson, all jokes aside, you know, I joke around a lot, but May 10th is election day. Even if you don't support who I support, that's cool. Get out and vote for somebody. Do not stay home, because if you stay home,
I'm staying home.
Damn clown game show host Andre Sayer will keep that seat. But please come out and vote on May 10th.
I'm staying home.
I'm gonna drag your ass to the nearest polling site.
Got Bobby first.
I got low jack on you. No, sir. Oh man.
Catch me if you can. My mama still ain't get her mail-in ballot, so she ain't voting. Hey, Christy, you got something to say?
Really? I think we covered everything. For the most part, everybody just, like, stay in your designated lane, I would say.
Stay in your gender lane. That's hard for
I
me
ain't
to
even
do.
gonna get into it because that's like a whole other thing right now where everybody insulting what people want. If you want to be a tree, I gotta respect that you a tree and shit. Like, just stay in your lane, like whatever lane you chose. Like,
I
it's
love
hard
it.
out here.
All right, everybody.
Laughing because
Well, I think I'm just going to sign off by
Tree?
saying that, yeah, the
All right.
gender roles thing is
I'm
a
a
real
tree.
thing.
it's getting real out here with the
Look at
roles.
my
It's
leaves.
getting really,
All
really,
right now,
really
Oak.
real out here. Because now
I'm a
you can be
mahogany
born
tree.
and just be what is it now? They trying to pass a law or something where you can be born and then you're just an X, and when you get older, then you can pick your gender.
That's
They
some
just
bullshit.
passed that, I think, out in the West Coast. Like,
Really?
no gender for the baby. The baby gonna
Yeah.
choose later what it want to be.
Exactly. They get to choose what they want to be later on in life. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be a boy? You want to be a girl? We all going to hell.
It's just getting
You find out when they old enough to choose their gender.
It getting too out of hand. I just read this article the other day about this man that whatever religion or sexuality is now, apparently attracted to plants. He married a tree. He divorced his wife and married the tree in their yard. And his wife was trying to get the tree out the house and shit. And it was like they was trying to split the house in the divorce. And she was like, I want the tree off my property. And he over here in the courtroom, like, you could take the house, but I don't mess with my tree. And I'm just like, is this real? Like, what the fuck is going on?
And I would have
And he,
called
like,
the company, and that tree would have been gone.
he went out there and put some lace on that tree for their wedding day. And he was dead serious.
That
And he was
tree
like, we gotta
would have
consummate our
been
marriage. And I was like, what's the world coming
non-existent.
to?
He got termites in his pee-pee hole.
Unconsummated.
I wouldn't be surprised.
All right, everybody. On that note, we are going to say good night, peace, love, and blessings. Good night, all.